When the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation was started 24 years ago, the vision of the foundation was to create a place where rock and roll could be celebrated. And the idea was to create a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and museum. Cleveland has a rich history of rock and roll, from Alan Freed, arguably the first rock and roll DJ, the first rock and roll show, and the city of Cleveland stepped up and put together a program and a proposal and a long-term vision of why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be located in Cleveland. And this magnificent I.M. Pei design facility was opened on the shores of Lake Erie and has prospered ever since.
The mission of the Rock Hall is to collect, preserve, and exhibit this art form that we call rock and roll. It's also to educate the world about the impact of this music on culture and history.
Rock and roll music is embedded in the history of our time since rock and roll started in the early 50s. I mean, not just embedded in the cultural history, but embedded in the social history of our times, and from the social history to the political history of our times.
I'm thrilled that we have legitimized, to some extent, and validated a music that has changed the world.
It's become, the biggest art form in America, and it's probably America's, biggest export around the world.
When I went to Russia to meet with a steel company, first thing they asked me, "You're from Cleveland?" "Oh, that's where Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is."
The Rock Hall is really the face of Cleveland outside of Cleveland. It's the attitude that Cleveland wants to project. It's the spirit that we have here. That's what rock and roll is. That's what this building is.
95% of the folks that come to the museum are from outside the northern part of Ohio, so it really has a national and international reach. 50 states and 100 countries every year.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum brings in about 500,000 people a year into the museum, and more of them are coming to our educational programs. We serve over 20,000 students a year. Our distance learning program has served almost 10,000 students since it started about 3 years ago, and that number continues to grow all the time. It's very exciting to be able to take those resources here in the museum and educate visitors, scholars, and fans about that history.
The capital campaign really has three parts. There's the library and archives, there's the redesign of the museum, and then finally there's the creation of an operating reserve. And given the success of the capital campaign to date, we're going to be in a whole new place financially in terms of how we're able to look at the future and secure the future.
The Rock Hall and Cuyahoga Community College joined hands to create a new facility that would house the archives and library.
This is a 22,000 square foot facility that will be unique in the world, where scholars, fans, students can come to study the history of this music and look at original source documents from some of the most famous artists, directors, producers, songwriters. So it's going to be a magnificent institution, and that'll open in 2010.
We're right now looking at maybe redesigning portions of the museum to try to tell the story better.
I think it's an important thing to do to keep the music fresh and to keep the exhibits fresh. And a little bit like rock and roll itself, things change, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum needs to change to continue to bring people back here, which they've been so successful at doing.
Hi there, this is Eric Burden.
I'm Dusty Hill with ZZ Top.
I'm John Sebastian.
The name is Bootsy, baby.
Well, I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is saying it's just beginning.
You need to get up and come to Cleveland to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's right here, and you'll see everything you want to see, even me.
This is the center of the universe.
It's just as good as the Grand Canyon.
This is like, wow, man, this is like the fountain of youth.
Something worthwhile is happening. And when people see that, they want to be a part of a good thing.
For our generation, music has been the most important art form. People get married, when they walk down the aisle, they don't hold up a painting. They play a song, they play their favorite song. Music and rock and roll has been ingrained in our DNA, in our generation's DNA more than anything. And this is the place that exhibits it. It's the only place in the world that does that. And that's why it's key to our generation to be able to support this museum like they would any other museum in the world.
So our challenge is to make sure that people understand why this institution is worthy. And when you look at this art form as something that has changed the world, it continues to change the world, it's been a platform for idealists, you can understand culturally why it's important. The marquee value of the museum, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, being the most unique institution in this town, the only one of its kind in the world, I think people are now really understanding how important the museum has been and what it's going to mean in the future.
I'll see you at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's what I'm talking about. Peace out, baby.
What we want to do right here